Hi everybody. I had the idea because we're so often firefighting, arguing the toss, same time, same thing every 5 minutes, that I decided to try and write a draft affidavit that could be assigned in any particular direction. Um, of course, it wasn't very successful, partly because text edit changes when it turns to PDF, so I don't even remember what I wrote in the first place. But basically, it was something along these lines. Um, I was asked to be expert witness in the case in Malaysia. There's a class action trying to take get the government to take responsibility for some of the horrendous choices made during the thing that shouldn't be said. So anyway, what we're trying to do, we hereby establish our jurisdiction in this court and all future hearings. The sovereign power belongs to the people, the men and women. We were asked to provide our expert witness for this class action. Charges of genocide, war and weapons funding and research contravening international law and fraud, personally and against the Malaysian government and their collaborators with more or less authority in the World Health Organization and World Economic Forum, health services and banks and military remain unanswered. Over the Easter weekend, perpetrators at the United Nations have again attempted to pass and adopt a so-called Pact for the Future by their process of silence procedure, a silent acquiescence basically, wherein if nobody objects, it is considered to be unanimously adopted. Evidence of objection from senior administrative bodies in 25 countries is enclosed. So I had basically put that together and sent that to the, as you might know, to the Federal Supreme Court in Lausanne in Switzerland before the 2024 World Health Assembly. But I'm sending it around now because any government, any court that's prepared to talk about it really needs to consider the fact that all these little people, literally individuals, are backed by these massive and serious cases abroad that haven't been heard or acknowledged yet, but they do have a huge amount of authority because they're from like the entire, like 200 doctors from the medical authority or for all sorts of different places, governments themselves who've tried to object or tried to reject, the treaty or ask questions about the jabs or whatever. So there is a unanimous rejection of the authority of the government and global governance for misconduct in public office. And this affidavit instructs the court to provide remedy in the form of apology, financial compensation, the writing off of all alleged public debt and the stepping down and personal prosecution of the men and women complicit. The Nuremberg Code applies and the annex cases show the ignorance is no defence. We hereby establish our jurisdiction in this court and all future hearings. The sovereign power belongs to the people, the men and women. I, the woman Francis, as postmaster in this case, hereby instruct those acting as judges and all present that people enjoy superior jurisdiction and non-alienable rights as executors, executors we'll call them, and beneficiaries relating to all resources and decision making. Decision making is so important. We don't want that in the hands of the governments, all these captured people, and then obviously AI. They're dying to put it in the hands of AI. And then in the big bill by Trump, it says, and you're not allowed to say anything about it for 10 years. AI must be able to do whatever it likes for 10 years, and then we can look at it again. I don't think we should be signing that either. The decision we have made is that the entire Admiralty Maritime Commercial Jurisdiction be abolished, rendering all contracts void and acts, statutes and legislation inapplicable. Service providers and employees, as in defence forces, governments, banks, corporations and administration, civil, criminal and patent courts, and law and bar society agents, technology and assets are hereby ordered back under the control of the living on the land and soil. Acting in our requested role as expert witness, whether noted with the name, for example, Francis Micklem, for which I hold full copyright, or as Francis, fully conveyed living woman, I declare the superior jurisdiction of this class action over the court and other hearings. We withdraw the power delegated to the office holders except to provide remedy. Following the grave injustice, suffering and death caused, the future hostility already planned against the Malaysian people and the renewed global efforts to enslave and contaminate the people and the planet, the defendants pose an existential threat and dictatorship. An existential threat. Isn't it funny that governments can be an existential threat to the people? And it's kind of just, oh, it's fine, but not say anything about it. Also to be put on record, the living jurisdiction do not consent to the new appointment as head of the World Economic Forum, the ex-CEO of Nestle. He is quoted as saying that access to water is not a human right. He has a long track record of just complete megalomania and madness. I didn't write that. In honour of the death of Pope Francis, the Vatican must also now be dismantled as per the 2015 agreement, and his last order implemented, which was the forgiveness of debt is a matter of justice, not generosity. This class action is to inform the court and thereby the International Bar Society that all corporate governments and corporations are now to be abolished and leaders prosecuted, starting with those charged and annexed herein, and then the banks of Vatican, London and Washington City. They must pay for the atrocities and the power be taken out of the hands of dead entities and returned to us. Many thanks. So, maybe no one would understand what I mean by that, but I thought it was good. I mean, the main thrust of the thing is that all decisions should be made by the living in the interests of the living, and that living are the beneficiaries. Literally none of those things are the case at the moment. So if you take anything from it, we'll call it a success.